Most people never actually see it. They spend the whole relationship waiting for love that looks like theirs and walk right past the real thing. Here's what nobody tells you about avoidance. When they're all in, it doesn't look like what you've been waiting for. It doesn't look like grand gestures, constant texts, or "I miss you" at 2 a.m. It looks so quiet, so understated, that most people call the relationship emotionally unavailable, when some of those relationships were actually the most committed the avoidant had ever been. So today, we're going deep. Not surface-level stuff about needing space. We're talking about what love actually looks like in behavior when an avoidant has chosen you. And stay with me, because this is the part most people skip. How to tell the difference between an avoidant who is genuinely all in versus one who is just comfortable enough to stay, but not invested enough to grow. Those two things can look identical on the outside. Getting them confused will cost you years. Let's start with something that might reframe everything. Bartholomew's research on adult attachment identified what she called the dismissing style, characterized by a defensive denial of the need or desire for closeness. Notice what that actually says. It's not that they feel discomfort with intimacy and are aware of it. It's that the defensive system itself blocks the acknowledgement of need. The desire for connection exists. It's the awareness of that desire that gets suppressed. That's why an avoidant who loves you rarely looks like they love you. The signal isn't louder words. It's a specific, selective kind of presence. They let you into the mechanics of their life, not just the highlight reel. An avoidant who likes you on the surface will show you who they are when things are good. An avoidant who is invested will let you see the boring, unglamorous parts, the frustrating work call they vent about, the Sunday evening when they're tired and not performing for anyone. That's intimacy for them. They're not retreating to their private world. They're letting you in. They initiate, just not the way you expect. An invested avoidant doesn't flood your phone, but they reach out in specific, consistent ways that are easy to miss. A link to something you mentioned 6 weeks ago. A "did you eat" text that sounds casual, but came from someone who was thinking about you in the middle of their day. Every reach out is intentional. Nothing is accidental. If any of this is already clicking, drop a like. I want to know it's landing. Here's where most people get hurt. They spend the relationship waiting for the avoidant to open up in ways that feel natural to them. More emotional availability, more declarations, more vulnerability on demand. And they dismiss what's actually being offered. Research by Collins and Feeney found that high levels of practical support can actually overcome the defenses of highly avoidant individuals because it offers undeniable evidence of the partner's availability. The reverse is also true. Avoidants give love through practical acts more readily than emotional ones. When an avoidant shows up to help you move without being asked, handles something stressful on your behalf, fixes the thing that's been broken in your apartment, that's not them being a good roommate. That's them saying, "I see you. I'm here." The reason people miss it is because we've been conditioned to equate love with emotional expressiveness. But emotional expressiveness and emotional depth are not the same thing. Avoidants often feel things with an intensity that would genuinely shock you. They just have an extremely low output for those feelings. The internal experience and the external display are wildly disconnected. Now stay with me, because what I'm about to say next is what this whole video has been building toward. And it's the thing most people never hear about avoidance. How do you actually tell the difference between one who is all in and one who has quietly already left? An avoidant who is genuinely invested will do something that goes against everything their nervous system wants to do. They will lean into the discomfort of closeness instead of consistently moving away from it. Not perfectly, not without friction, but there will be a direction, a slow, observable pattern toward you rather than away. Here's what that looks like in real time. When you need emotional support, an invested avoidant will not give you the perfect response, but they will stay. They'll get uncomfortable, go quiet, maybe say the wrong thing, and then come back. They try again. The key word is return. Not perfection in the moment, but repair afterward. If they consistently vanish every time you need them emotionally and never come back to acknowledge it, that's not avoidant attachment in action. That's absence dressed up as attachment style. When the relationship needs a hard conversation, an invested avoidant will hate it. They'll deflect. They might shut down for a day. But they will return to it. They won't leave difficult things permanently unaddressed, because deep down, they care about the relationship's stability, even when they can't say so out loud. If every hard conversation becomes a dead topic that never gets revisited, if problems disappear but never actually get resolved, that's not avoidant love pushing through discomfort. That's avoidant love deciding not to try. Drop a comment and tell me, what's one moment from your relationship where, looking back now, you think you might have misread what they were actually trying to give you? I'm curious what comes up for people. This is the most important thing in this entire video. There's a specific behavioral pattern that separates an avoidant who is struggling with intimacy from one who has emotionally exited. Deactivation without re-engagement. McEulinser and Shaver's research identified that avoidantly attached individuals rely on deactivating strategies, suppression and disengagement, to manage closeness. That pullback you feel, the wall, the sudden distance, that's deactivation. It's a self-regulation mechanism, not a verdict on the relationship. But here's what the research points to, and what nobody talks about in these videos. In an avoidant who is still invested, deactivation has a return. They come back. The cycle closes. It's not comfortable. It's not ideal. But the motion back toward you exists. When that return stops happening, when deactivation becomes a flat line, you're no longer dealing with an avoidant struggling with closeness. You're dealing with someone who has made a quiet, private decision and hasn't said it out loud yet. Avoidants exit internally, long before they exit physically. They'll stay in the relationship while already gone. If the only consistent motion is away, and there is never a pullback toward you, trust that pattern more than anything they say. If you've been spending your energy waiting for love that looks like yours, stop. Not because you don't deserve that, but because you might be standing in the middle of it right now and calling it not enough. Learn the dialect. Watch for consistency, for practical care, for quiet loyalty. Watch for the return after the retreat. And be honest with yourself about whether the pattern moves toward you, even slowly, or whether it has stopped moving altogether. You deserve to be chosen. in the specific, real way that person knows how to choose someone. And if you're not being chosen, even in the quiet language of an avoidant, you deserve to know that too. If you found value in this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.